counter pick to Braum, which Voidal keeps getting to play. So the Braum ban from G2, I think, is a great adaptation.
Yeah, out of the 7 games that we've seen Voidal, he's played Braum 6 times.
Yep.
Thresh is the only other champion he's gotten his hands on here. So everybody keeps leaving it up for him, and I like the fact that Gamers2 made that adaptation and didn't fall into that.
Yeah. Well, speaking of making adaptations, though, look at this. Riven also banned away from Morden. He's been spamming that one, taking a page out of Shook's book there. Kassadin removed from NIP, no big surprise there. That is definitely an Alex's champion, on top of just being strong in general.
Yeah, ban Kassadin. Basically the theme of all of EU Challenger, every time we see Kassadin left open.
The theme of League of Legends.
Somebody's going to pick it up.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
So Gragas gets first pick, though. That one was going to be a Contessa top lane pick. That's going to Cabochard, though. JWoww clicking the random button a lot. I do want to see, do they get JWoww and Nidalee here? Do they go for the, basically so far, uncontested AD carry and jungle picks?
Yeah, there's really no reason to go ahead and pick up a Nidalee right now. You wouldn't need it for the top lane. It's better to just pick high priority champions. And I love the fact that if they take the Thresh away, puts Voidal on a champion we haven't seen him in the Challenger Series on before. That's
true. I actually really think that's a great option there as well. We even saw that from Millennium, I believe. They went for an early pick Thresh to try to deny Yellow Star. He just played Zirene, did fine anyway, but you definitely have a sort of sparing ability to take contested picks away and try to deny with your early picks. You've got to make sure they fit your strategy. Something like Thresh Cog, I think, is great. Thresh are very good at keeping a typically unsafe AD carry out of danger.
Yeah, and the fact that they went for the Kog'Maw over the Tristana right now speaks worlds to the playstyle of Yuki. He did play both Tristana and Kog'Maw, both of them very available to him, but he goes with the Kog'Maw. So he's looking at more of a kind of mid-late game power spikes here.
Yeah, so basically Cog is a whole lot better at one item than Trist is. Trinity Force first Cog is ludicrously good in lane. Once you're at level 9, you've got the 700-ish range in your W. You just bully that lane out really hard. So I think it is a pretty good choice there. The Rengar-Orianna combo, though, for NIP, these guys will be very able to pick fights, and honestly, it will be hard for Rydal to save Yuki against this.
Yeah, if he gets right onto the back line, it's going to be nigh impossible. He's going to at least eat a shockwave. Unless the Lantern's preemptive and you see the exclamation point immediately, that would be really, really hard to pull off. But
exclamation point means throw a Lantern out and click that thing.
Seriously, though, we are in for some great games today because both these teams, since they've played each other, they went 2-1, but we have Rydal, who is credited with, you know, kind of solving their communication problems.
Right.
But then on Ninjas in Pyjamas, Alex is back in the mid lane. So they've had some adaptations since last time they met. So both these teams have kind of upgraded their rosters and upgraded their communication. So today, we're definitely in for some treats.
We're going to see even more treats coming out. Looks like another cat going to be joining the fray here. Nidalee and Rengar in the game. JWoww going to be most likely playing top Nidalee. I know she's typically played as a top laner, but I always wonder, like, at what point do teams move it somewhere else and we play more of the assassin mids like what Nidalee is now? Still, it's very likely to be JWoww. Going to take some time for G2 to show their own mid laner here. And in fact, we talked about Xerath still being on the table, and they've actually got a lot of really good long-range combat. Xerath would actually fit this comp.
But the thing is that they have so much engage from Ninjas in Pyjamas, you would just have Rengar jump in with the Orianna ball, and then you'd have the separation from Cabochard if they wanted to start that off in a separated fight. So there's a lot of team fighting prowess here for NIP, whereas Gamers2, if they're going to go with a poke/pick comp with a little bit of Kog'Maw fighting, don't know if that's the ideal thing for them.
Totally fair.
But I mean, that's kind of what their options are now. They're just put into that composition now. So the Xerath would fit Ocelote, and then if they can just poke people down and stop the engage with good warding, then yeah, they could come out on top with it.
We'll see if they can find that. Oddly enough, I feel like if G2 wanted to get a team fight comp going, they'd want like Galio mid. As much as we never see the champion, I'm like, how could you round this comp out to actually be able to 5-on-5? And you'd need something like an Orianna or a Galio. Again, not likely to pick here, but that would actually round it out pretty well. I think Ryze would also succeed at doing that. You'd be very non-AoE, but I think you could tank through the engage. NIP do grab Tristana and Nami here for the bot lane. Actually, very strong early bullying. I think either side can win the fight in the 2-on-2, just based on how the first 2 levels go. But NIP definitely have a scary bot lane.
Yeah, they have a very scary bot lane here with the harassment early on. A lot of Tidecaller's blessings in the explosive shot. You're going to look for some harassment, and it is going to be the Syndra here for Ocelote. I was juggling around things in my head. I'm like, all right, he can go with this, this, or this, but Syndra, he's going to go with the pick here. So they're definitely just honing in on the pick comp.
We talked about juggling. I mean, Syndra pretty well posed for that one, and honestly, it continues pushing the pick comp sort of motto here. Kog'Maw doesn't exactly fit it. Jinx would do a little bit better there. Ezreal Graves as well would fit that a little bit more, but it's still this sort of backline that can belt out damage if the engage isn't perfect from NIP, and you have to be really aware when you're the Ninjas Pyjamas lineup of there's a lot of skill shots coming in at 1,000 range that will stop you in your tracks and kill you, and you've got to keep that in mind. What does G2 have up their sleeve? And we're going to see how well the ward control then keeps them safe moving around the map. But of course, Coke can turn invisible, and he can pick people off.
Yeah, you got to get the pink wards up in the good spots. You got to get green wards all around the jungle from the entry points that you think he would come from and start the stealth up. Also, at the same time, there is some disengage there with the Syndra. If you see the Rengar leaping at you, you go and try to disengage it. But the thing is that really good Rengar players will throw the bola before they leap, because you can come out of the stealth and then still have that half second to use the leap afterwards. Yeah,
and so that's going to be an interesting reflex test. There's a lot of these actually in the game. Is can Syndra knock back Rengar? How fast are the shockwaves off of the Rengar leap in the first place? Does he get them as soon as he gets in range? How good are the Lantern saves against Rengar leap? Because I don't believe he'll track, so he'll basically end where you were, and you're out of range already from the Lantern. So a lot of interesting little 2-on-2 gimmicks can happen in this battle depending on individual play. That could completely flip the matchup, just regardless of what the team comps are supposed to do. But NIP looking for very heavy engage and extremely strong follow-up on a fairly safe lineup overall. Games 2 looking for picks. JWoww's a cat.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Just randomly out of nowhere. He's on a horse.
He's not on a horse.
No, he's also a kitty. But speaking of Ko, we haven't talked about him a lot. He's a very, very great jungler. He's actually probably one of the best top 2 EU Challenger Series junglers.
Yeah.
I'd say he's up there with a lot of LCS junglers. And now he's on NIP. He's getting a lot of that limelight. He's got a very aggressive play style, and even the fact that he brought the early sweeping lens. He's looking for some ganks early. He's not going to just farm to level 6 as Rengar and then look for them. He's going to try to force them early. He might go for invades and just play the jungle bush game on top of Elise. But we got to see how Ko plays it, because I'm always impressed every time we see this kid.
He's incredibly skilled. And finally, he's old enough to play on the LCS as well. So if NIP do make the promotion tournament, he'll actually be playing in it, which his old team, Cloud and Eclipse, now H2K, didn't have the luxury of. Ko had to be subbed out when they played their promo tournament match. So whether he makes it with the team, maybe he gets picked up by an LCS team currently. Oh, look at this move. They sweep the ward.
Not fast enough, though.
Not fast enough. They do get spotted out, and Gamers 2 are like, ah, I'm out of this. But NIP gets spotted.
They go for the late invade, and that's going to actually ward them with the blue buff, and it's going to slow down Mordred's jungle just a little bit. And they are going for a lane swap at the same time.
Exactly. So NIP wanting to dodge out the 2-on-2 matchup in the first place anyway. Cabochard could get himself some nice farm as well. Dodges JWoww, and these guys will be grabbing red buffs, but it is a slower start to the game here for G2. We'll see if that hurts them very much in their movements across. Ko, Cabochard still sharing farm. Likely the same for the red side.
He's just going to go with the solo laners, farming with the junglers. Both pretty suited to it as well. They both have good wave clear, good jungle camp damage. Where's this first gank going to come out from, and when is it going to come out? Because now that you have the setup on the bottom lane, it could be a 3.5-minute dragon for Gamers 2. But NIP going to counter it? We have to see.
Well, right now, NIP have stayed one camp ahead, meaning they could finish their jungle route and then actually show up at the bot side. We actually already have Voidal recalling as well. So you've got Freeze just sitting there, isolated in the top lane. Can't teleport, but who cares? But the rest of NIP could show up. They could 4v5 the dragon very cleanly. So I don't think the 3-minute dragon will happen for G2.
Yeah, they're going to go ward it right now. Cabochard doesn't have his ward. The only person is Voidal. He's got some in his inventory after the back.
He even put a pink ward down as well. This is a very well orchestrated strat from NIP. They have all these steps planned out. Ocelote, he's on the wrong side of the mid lane. He's not hugging his ward.
Rydal is actually going to face check this. Oh,
right
they
as they
showed.
go forward before they see him. Looks like no CC onto Ocelote whatsoever. 4 guys mid lane, nothing to be shown for it.
Except for all of the NIP team. They didn't end up getting Rydal, and Warden finding Ko with JWoww on the backside.
So much damage comes through this. JWoww has to flash away. Red buff is on. He's barely going to survive with 40 health.
Wow, that's
wrong place, wrong time.
Aggressive move from him, but they saw him traverse the mid lane, and he pays for it. He's going to have to pop some potions and possibly back.
he doesn't have a whole bunch of gold yet either, because Cabochard's been taking some of those jungle mobs himself. That's what the 6 CS is on the guy. So not the exact start the NIP wanted. The mid lane gank failed, and then Ko got really shoved down, but he's going to keep farming for now. Wait till he has enough for Madrids, most likely. Now Rydell wants to make the play.
Trying to come around. Alex is actually still staying forward.
Hook's going to come out. It lands onto him. Nice stun. Lands well from Ocelote. Alex Itch burns summon or heal. Ignite comes out. Not really needing that one, but put some damage down. A
little bit of a questionable play there by Alex, having to blow a summoner spell and his potions, because they saw Rydell. They saw him off on the side. They knew what his move was, and Alex was just a little overconfident, thinking maybe he could juke the abilities.
Didn't happen for him. JWoww actually TPs into the mid lane. This is interesting. He's going to keep jungling for now. Doesn't have a lane to really go to. Didn't want to hold up at the top. Which is interesting because we did recently change the experience range on minions. So it's actually fairly easy to leech XP in a 1-on-2 lane. And it's not something they want.
That's Cabochard for you, though. He's going for that strategy. At the same time, though, both of these AD carries, which are hyper carries, having a really early lead here. Very easy early game. Highest CS in the game for both of them.
And speaking of highest CS in the first place, Ocelote also +8 on Alex Itch here, also forcing the potions out thanks to the gank from Rydell. So a lot of these elements are going well for Gamers 2. Now they actually are going to set up for Dragon potentially, because again, they saw Voidal head all the way back to the top lane. He's on the wrong side of the map to defend this. Ko also on the northwest side. This could very much be a clean Dragon.
Gamers 2 are making good motions, good movements around the map. JWoww didn't show himself top for this exact reason. He TP'd to the mid lane, cleared a camp, so he's at least in this vicinity and able to respond because he didn't have his teleport.
Absolutely great play here by Gamers 2. These guys look very strong as a unit. 6 minutes in, the Dragon goes down, and a 900 gold lead for the underdogs.
Yeah, saw underdogs being successful yesterday. Man, it's just going to be a new era in the Challenger Series.
I mean, I always knew there were a lot of very good teams. Even the quarterfinal teams that lost, and in fact, we have a tiebreaker to see which of those comes in. There are a lot of very strong teams here who have heavily improved. Teams who weren't in the conversation last split for the spring promo tournament, or sorry, summer promo tournament, spring Challenger Series, who are now very real contenders to the throne, contenders to LCS spots. And I'm actually very excited for the playoffs when they do show up.
Everybody's kind of playing their heart out this season.
Yeah.
And Gamers 2, they kind of were in the conversation. They were very surprising last time we saw them going 2-1 against NIP. Even taking a game off them was something that people were, weren't sure was going to happen.
Right, the hype train was all, oh, it's H2K and NIP, just those are the only two teams that matter. And that's really not the case this time around. I'm very impressed by the level of skill of the teams coming in here to the Challenger Series.
Yeah, the fact we aren't even going to see H2K in the finals this time. They will be in the playoffs, but the fact that they got knocked out by SK Gaming Prime and their roster changes just shows, team plays their heart out, gets the right pieces, gets the right players in, and meshes. Boom, you can accomplish almost anything and become an LCS team, or at least have that chance at it.
Absolutely, and heck, you talk about the fact that the LCS might branch out to 10 teams as well next season.
You get double the chances.
Potentially. We'll see what ends up happening with this one, but right now, Gamers 2 having a very good start in the first game of this best of 3. First buff respawns come around, and looks like those are going to be secured so far. No major aggressive moves, just early ganks towards the mid lane, a good Dragon play. And honestly, these teams playing very smart based on their vision.
Yeah, right now, Ko's just going to try to get the level 6. His early aggression didn't pay off, and it put him kind of behind in regards to his timing of ganks. He got some wards to keep track of where Morden is, so he doesn't get invaded on. But as soon as Ko hits 6, we're going to see some moves from him.
Well, he's 6. He has bought Madrids. No Ferocity yet, though. Only 2 stacks there. You typically, because you don't build Ferocity during Stealth anymore, you want to get up to 5 so that you can throw a root out with your very first leap, basically.
Let's clear this out. He's on the complete opposite side of his blue buff, but that's not such a big deal right now. Voidal's covered.
Okay, he's going to go into 3 Ferocity. Ocelote knows he was around. Look how far back he plays. He swept the wave and says nope.
Yep, he's going to get nothing for it. Runs off to the left. So
Ko does not reveal that his ulti is down. G2 does not know that gank failed. They are still going to have to stay afraid of the potential of Ko.
Ocelote kind of played the wave clear, and then he wasn't going to push the issue. Instead, he goes to get the blue. So it's just a strange timing by Ko on his ultimate, just unlucky.
Just completely unlucky. The thing is, he knew the wave was getting cleared. Ocelote would have no reason to stay that far up as well. So honestly, to me, it's a bit of a misplay because the minions were gone.
Oh, yeah.
There's no reason for Oz to be there.
And they saw Ko's positioning when he was clearing the ward.
True. They knew he was around mid. Top was safe. Bot was suspect. Lanes have swapped back to normal. No turrets did go down. It was just basically a large freeze. And NIP have swapped back to regular lanes here. Zeal Pickaxe, a very strange opening buy for freeze.
Right now, Ocelote, despite the pickaxe, I want to talk about this.
Oh, okay.
Really good CS, approaching the 10-minute mark. He's got over 90 at 9 minutes.
Yeah.
He's very close to have it.
He's been undisturbed.
Yeah, I mean, he just farms it out, backs up. He's not really pushing the issue on Alex. There was a gank in the mid, which helped him out a tiny bit to get some pressure and forced Alex to play more defensive. But man, the fact he's doing so well against Alex, just like old times.
Yeah, well, I mean, keep in mind, Ocelote did pick second here in the matchup. He knew he was going up against Orianna when he picked the champ. And so you trust he picked something that he thought would do well. 97 CS at 10 minutes. The score for this game, an incredibly large margin considering he's battling with 80 carries who are in 1v0 lanes and is out CSing them.
Yeah, they've had free farm. They've just been sitting around being like, all right, can I play whack-a-mole? Can I auto-attack this? All right, good. But now the 80 carries are back to dueling each other. 2-on-2s in the bot lanes, 1-on-1 in the top.
Okay, well, here we go. Looks like NIP going to look for their second round. Ko already has his ulti back available. Has added cooldown boots to the mix. Will they try again for Ocelote here? Looks like he really wants to make this happen. Shockwave is up for Alex. Pink Ward and Sweeper make sure left side mid is undisturbed there. He is in darkness.
Ko has his ultimate available.
And full ferocity. This is his best chance for a kill. Looks like Cabochard is trying to push JWoww under his turret and drop the health bar low, but they will not look for a dive just yet. Instead, Ko looks for a counter gank maybe. And in fact, Morden is around saying, hey, this could be a dive, this could be a gank. Let's see what's up.
Cabochard very aggressive. Morden, ooh. He knocks him back.
The knockback into the root as well. Holy crap, first blood out of nowhere.
That was super clean.
That was perfect.
Little bit of an overextension there by JWoww. A little comfortable because he had Morden off in the wings, but knocked straight into his teammate. The flying bola.
Yeah.
Basically clay pigeoned him and wrapped it around his feet. Brought him to the ground again.
And Ko didn't even have to ult for that. He gets a ward down aggressively in the jungle. He can spot out these moves. He'll keep his ferocity up for this one, kill the pink ward. And I feel like JWoww doesn't say he ulted for that one. I think you know he came from the brush. And in fact,
he was on top of a ward.
Yeah, threw a ward. Also just going to back right on off. Gets the exclamation point as well. So actually Ko knows that they know he wasted the spell.
Ko's just there for the experience.
Yep.
Just run him by. He's good. Dragon is live once again. They're out of pink ward and they have no idea that the bot lane is in trouble. Gonna have to back up.
Yeah. Well, they saw Ko killing the ward, so they're like, you know what? There's a jungler on this side of the map. Let's go ahead and not deal with that. And then we got pink ward swept back away. JWoww doing the same. Nice. That's one of the brushes I think you have to check on purpose.
There's a lot of them.
It's a very common defensive pink ward spot now, though.
That place and the one right above the red.
Yep. Very common defensive pink wards. I recommend all of you guys try to sweep those out. You gotta find new pink ward spots. They slowly but surely get found.
His bot lane hasn't really played defensively at all here for Gamers 2. They're just sitting around in a neutral position. Even though they saw Ko kind of come down, they hadn't made any little hiccups in their strategy. They just kind of played forward still.
Yeah.
Knowing that Rydell could keep Yuki safe.
But look at this, though, for Ninjas in Pyjamas. Basically, that kill has basically answered the Dragon goal, and we're back to a fairly equal game here. Money spread around fairly evenly across the teams. And I do want to see what sort of team breaks forward first. Like, I don't feel like you can play a laning phase for 20 minutes and that be the optimal strategy. Of course, Ko is trying to make plays with the Rengar. He is getting some decent ganks through. But we've seen basically nothing from Morden all game.
NIP going for a Dragon right now. The Lantern's thrown backwards even though there's nobody there.
You just want to try to push people back, though. Yuki's still slowed. Smite is available. Actually, not available for Ko. They've got to be a bit careful. There's no steal. Teleport comes in. These guys want the battle, and Voidal very near to going down. Summoner heal pop. Burst comes out. Rengar claims that with the Smite. Yuki forced to get away from this one. Kill for a kill, but keep in mind, that is an NIP Dragon.
Oh,
Morden getting
Cabochard.
down. The jump across the wall. The Shockwave going to claim the kill as well. Now Ocelote getting knocked back in. More kills coming in. NIP crushed that fight.
Wow, they end up with the Dragon and they go 3 for 2. Big lead there for NIP, just bursting out with about 1,500 gold lead. Big part of that was JWoww had no teleport. Cabochard did, so he made it to the fight and was able to just completely turn it around.
So the question is, can JWoww equalize Dragon as a turret? Looks like that will be the case. Blade of the Ruined King first going to be the idea there. Cabochard won't be in lane in time. That will definitely be the turret for Dragon. So in the end, it's a -1 kill trade, which is still not great for G2. I'm just surprised they even picked the fight knowing they had no TP.
Yeah, they were just trying to dissuade them from being on it. I saw the Lantern backwards, and he was kind of just flexing his muscles, making him think there were more people there than there were, but NIP wasn't falling for it. Despite not even having a smite on Ko, they waited out. Morden's off on the left side. They see him with Alex, so they know that the smite isn't there yet. So they blow it up with Ko, freeze the entire time, just doing damage. And they lose Voidal, but they trade supports. And then Ko going all the way around. He actually comes over the wall with a flash, and then using his lead.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just not sure why Ocelote and Morden wanted to pick a fight there. They didn't know they were standing on a ward. They said maybe the two of us together can randomly pick somebody off of a a greedy move by NIP. But the rest of that fight was a 1-for-1. They just traded support for Cabochard, right? So.
Yep. Ko forced the issue though and continued, but Cabochard in the top lane now. He's actually going to get ganked here in a second.
Body Slam using explosive cast, but here comes Morden. The ulti is down for Cabochard. He does have flash. Gets pretty far away. Cocoon and Javelin Toss both miss. And that's a safe Gragas.
It's a really big minion wave too. There was no way they could fight him on top of it. And they'd have to just clear it out first. Also a lot of skill shots there.
Yeah.
That they would miss.
Yeah, I mean, Cabochard just got the heck out, though. Even with the minions, though, that guy was, like, piecing out in this one. Triforce now done for Kog'Maw, though. Shiv there as well for Freeze.
Ko, he can jump right on.
Jumps right on, stuns up. The Tidal Wave predicts a flash, but there isn't one. Rydell's got nowhere to go in this one. Freeze actually gets the kill to Voidal from the Ebb and Flow. But it's still a kill. Good gank by Ko.
Yep, throwing out the bola before he even leaps, because it gives him less time to react.
Yep. It does not get stunned up, but Yuki actually does big damage down onto the turret. Ko's going to get away from this one pretty safely.
Turret
trades kills, actually. Freeze sticking around just a little bit too long, but hey, still makes it happen. It gets the assist for the team. Ko is around, but Morden spots him. Good route in the place. Ko has nowhere to go right now.
His ultimate's got a very long cooldown left. He's going to try to suicide, but here comes Ocelote.
Into the base he goes.
He didn't get hit too, so he actually is going to get executed.
I think Morden might have just been in experience range, but that's it. So, NIP though, now 2,000 gold up. They're going to see if Voidal can hold up against JWoww. Otherwise, this Nidalee could take down another turret and actually put this gold to a pretty decent spot. G2 just might hold a turret lead now in this game, even though they are down in kills.
Yeah, it's just the rotations on the map. And Rydell going after Cabochard.
And gets some decent damage down. Explosive cast doesn't do very much. The Lantern comes out, they pull in Yuki, and Cabochard really has nowhere to go. Ocelote going to claim the kill on this one. Overextension there from Cabochard.
I mean, being down in kills has never been a worry for gamers too. The game they took off NIP, they won when they were down in kills still. So the fact that that is what's happening, it's not a huge problem for them. They know how to play from behind.
And keep in mind as well that Yuki is actually the one getting the lion's share of this credit here. 1 kill, 2 assists, highest skill participation on his team. So he's involved in all these plays, and he's going to keep scaling up his Kog'Maw, which is a scary place to be if you're NIP.
Yeah, and a lot of the kills are also on Ocelote, who's looking for the pick potential there. Speaking of pick potential,
Shockwave in, Ocelote's gonna get picked off mid-lantern flight. Ko gets the kill with some savagery. That's a good place to be as well.
He clotheslined him.
Yeah.
Whipped past him, nope.
He clotheslined him with claws, though. That is a very deadly clothesline.
Ooh, going back to that cinematic right now.
Yep.
Leaping straight on him, New Dawn.
What kind of clothes would you even put on a line made of claws? Morden's mail?
They'd be shredded afterwards, no.
Yeah. All right, now the poke's still coming down. Looks like the inclusion of Kog'Maw does help the siege game a little bit for G2. Put some of the poke damage down as they try to take turrets off. Freeze gonna grab red buff for himself. Code is gonna claim away some wraiths. Those die pretty fast. NIP still hold on to this 2,000 gold lead. They have gotten their own turret kill back. Mid lane now under fire though from G2, but there's a reaction in time for Ninjas in Pyjamas. Looks like these sort of grander offensive moves have yet to pay off aside from dragon fights.
Yesterday we were talking about Rengar builds.
Yeah.
Going with the build that we saw from I Will Dominate.
Yeah.
Where you have all the cooldown reduction, reduce the cooldown of your ultimate, and you just keep making ganks like that happen, which will synergize really well with Alex Siege having the shockwave on the Orianna. And they're just going to siege up this mid lane once again here, and they get themselves a turret.
Nicely done, NIP. And I do really like that build. Ko's primary role is an initiator. He is the one who starts the fight. He needs to withstand that front end first because he's the guy taking the damage there. Set up the shockwaves, and then the follow-up afterwards. And of course their comp as well has enough damage here. You've got Alex Siege on Orianna. He's a great farmer. Orianna scales well. Tristana the same. So comp-wise as well as build-wise, I think this is the right choice for NIP.
And he's going even tankier. Went back and got himself a Giant's Belt right before the dragon spawned, so he's ready for this dragon. He has all the combat sets possibly can, and here he goes. Shockwave is coming onto him.
Old Pop Shockwave, good escape there by Ocelote. Gets away, but a 4-man tidal wave, and here is the battle. Rydal low on health, gonna get taken down first. Gamers 2 now routed, but the explosive guy's gonna put JWoww back in the mix. He gets taken down as well, and now they chase on towards Mordred, who also has nowhere to go. Kill picked up by Ko. Ninjas in Pyjamas able to find the team fight they want. G2 not able to get picks.
Even though they didn't get the double ultimate combo off, still comes up really big for them off the rest of the team fight from this team against a pick-oriented composition.
And that's the real difficulty, is we asked what kind of snap plays can be made by G2. Ocelote did flash the shockwave and he got out, but what if he had QE'd instead? What if he had knocked back Rengar, kept his flash up, kept Ko out of the battle? Either way, shockwaves miss, or shockwave whiffs, but in one of these cases, Ocelote gets damage down and saves his flash up.
Yeah, this is kind of a team that wants to whittle you down or split push with the Nidalee at the same time and have them show up later. The fact that you don't get any time to start whittling your opponents down, this team with the Gragas is able to just do so much low cooldown fighting alongside the Orianna and the just persistent auto attacks with the Tristana at range. He gets himself a double buff here, or I mean the red buff, which is why he's able to just continue the slow and nobody's able to escape.
And one big risk as well for G2. You talked about the fact that they want to hold on. Ko.
And again, Shockwave is about to come up. Alex
gets the ferocity. Rydal takes a pretty good amount of damage. Ko's gonna get some ferocity back. Does not land that slow though. If it had landed, that was a kill.
It's pretty big. Alex had like 2 seconds left on his ultimate, so he wasn't able to get a combo off with Ko, but Ko was interrupted. Knocked back a little bit. So JWoww going for the split push game here. He's going to go with the Trinity Force and the Blade of the Ruined King build, which just signifies I want to try to 1v1 someone. I want to try to split push and take turrets very quickly.
Let's see if he can do that right now. JWoww is going to be kind of the one person. Ooh, wow, that missed Voidal. I'm surprised at that one, but it will let him get away pretty safely. JWoww's got nowhere to go.
It's that width reduction.
Yeah. I wasn't looking very closely, but yeah.
I mean, it's Nami too. Maybe you hit the tail.
That's true. That's why a lot of people play Butterfly Kog'Maw, or Monarch Kog'Maw, I suppose.
Yeah.
The wings don't actually make you any bigger, as far as the game's concerned.
His hitbox is the same. His wings just make him look bigger, so you aim skill shots at the wings, don't hit. Ko,
wow.
Looking for another. The ball on him. It's slapped on him now. They know it's coming.
They definitely know he's there, but also does not have flash this time, so Shockwave claims the kill very cleanly. Freeze can't quite chase down Yuki, but the rest of Gamers 2 still forced to run away. Hunt goes on to Ko and Kabashard, and they're like, I dare you to hunt us right now.
Yeah, they're using this team fight comp as a pick comp in the early game until they have 5-on-5 team fights, but by the time those erupt, they already have so much of a gold lead that you're going to lose just flat out.
Yes, and that's really the problem here is the 6,000 gold lead that NIP are forcing in. Turret's going to be going down rather quickly. No one's going to defend that one in the right mind. JWoww throws javelins that don't hit very hard, doesn't have much ability power, and G2 just forced to lick their wounds and say, yep, you earned that one.
Rengar is a very highly contested champion in a lot of compositions right now. He's 100% pick banned in the Korea games last night. A lot of priority on that champion because of what he can do. He has a lot of roots, a lot of utility, but a lot of damage too. And he's tanky.
Yeah. I mean, this is, again, why I like the build. His base damages are very high. He has some AD ratios, they're meaningful, but you do enough off base values that I do like the tank Rengar build myself. And
the fact that you get cooldown reduction means you just get more rotations on your spells, more ferocities, because he's cooldown gated.
Yeah, CDR is a very big fighter stat because they're very ability based. Ko gonna walk right onto a pink ward as it gets put down under his feet. He actually gets away from the cocoon, walks past Morden to dodge it. And Morden's like, yeah, okay, I'll back off of this one.
Oh, he's gonna stealth himself. He's gonna go after Ocelote again. Ooh, blind stun.
Well, he walked through a ward before he stealthed all the way out, and he's like, hang on a second, he predicted this. Yep, there's a ward. Jumps on it for good measure. Doesn't do any more damage, but looks cooler.
Yeah. Got himself the 5 ferocity off of mid 2 because of his ultimate. Just sitting around, and that thing will be up very shortly. It's about 1/3 of the way down.
Yeah. We're seeing very, very frequent ults out from Ko. And you can assume an easy 5% for masteries, and many junglers have the luxury of taking cooldown reduction blues as well, since they don't face any magic damage dealers early game. Outside of jungle invades, where you have release.
Yuki getting the red buff here. All of this farm on him. Went for the Bilgewater Cutlass. He's been holding on to that pickaxe for a while now. He just wanted that extra damage as he goes for the Blade of the Ruined King. And then he'll eventually get IE.
That's kind of weird, though, because you could have simply picked up Vamps at their pickaxe for the same cost. Or I guess just Vamp, actually. But either way, like Vamp Longsword, you know, just go towards the Ruined King sooner. But either way, he's going to eventually finish that item up. The pickaxe weight was strange for Yuki, but that's okay. Infinity Edge Shiv, though, really standard for Freeze here. The difficulty, though, for the Kog'Maw is actually the Gamers 2 don't have a real tank line. And we saw it actually in the prior Dragon fight. The only real team fight we've seen so far this game was the one Dragon fight, the most recent one. And Yuki just does not have the uptime to deal auto attacks because no one can tank the front line.
Ko going in.
Sees a lot of people, puts the root down into Ocelote. Big damage comes out, the knockback as well from Tristan. All it's going to do is earn them the blue buff. But that's good enough. Buff goes through, Freeze steals it. And if he's staying in control.
You see, that was just Ko pretty much on Ocelote, and he chunks him down to about 1/4 HP. The base damages of Rengar, and just using the ultimate for the extra ferocity is huge. Just so much damage comes through so quickly, even without any damage items.
Yeah, it's really, really good. The levels mean a lot for his damage output. Freeze put an auto and an ulti in the very end there, but a significant portion of Ocelote's health did go down that way. He's built almost no defense at all. No Zonias, just some MR, which doesn't really help you against Rengar here. Cabochard just continues to wave clear. He has really yet to have to try hard against JWoww. He's just kind of holding the line, clearing minions away. It's very hard to push against Gragas, unless you can actually assassinate him and put some real damage down. It allows NIP just to play with their 4-on-4 composition, take down dragons, take down turrets.
It's a very, very quick dragon there, and the power spikes for Freeze with the IE and Static Shiv. It's a really, really threatening Tristana now, getting those 2 items. No real armor on the enemy team, so having a Last Whisper is not going to be a huge power spike for him now. So he's actually at liberty to go for another damage item.
Yeah.
Nobody's directly building tank or even close to just yet on Gamers 2.
Yeah, you could very cleanly go for, I would say, Ruined King here. He's going to go BT, though, instead. That's plenty fine. It's still a strong item for Freeze. I guess it did get buffed in terms of lifesteal substantially, and players are really valuing that as far as a defensive statistic. Though AD, actually the most important stat on Tristana, because you have no AD ratios aside from your auto attack, and you can actually get more out of attack speed and crit, but that is fine. His choice is to be a bit more defensive, and to be honest, your team is winning. I think getting a hybrid defense item is plenty smart there. Baron being attempted 28 minutes in. Morden will ward. Good instincts there by the Spiderling. Ko does lose some health, but he's going to walk out pretty safely. NIP ready to bait a fight if they can find one. That's not going to be the case, though. Good move by Morden to ward that.
JWoww still split pushing. The teleports this game haven't been used on cooldown. They're going to send Cabochard back to try and deal with it and just stop the split push from the middle lane. That's been the MO of JWoww all game.
And he is trying to win these duels. All offensive builds so far, Double Thorns, Triforce, Ruined King. If he can get in on Cabochard, who, to be fair, has bought early magic resist and health, things that, honestly, Ruined King Nidalee is prepared to deal with.
He's also thrown in some armor, too, for good measure.
Yeah, finally.
Trying to get himself just all-around tanky. And Elise builds lately just seem to be kind of up in the air and confusing. I've seen a lot of different Elise builds. Some go Spirit of the Ancient Golem. I've seen a lot of Spectral Wraiths recently. And then a lot of second items are confusing me. Some people will go for Spell Pen, and then they'll go like half Spell Pen. We'll go one item, but no boots.
Yeah.
And then some go full, and then they're like, we'll get a Void Staff too on top of it. And I'm like, you're not tanky. And your AP ratios aren't that great, especially when the other team is pretty squishy and doesn't have like a designated tanker just yet.
Yeah.
Granted, that's not this game, but if you just went full damage, and we saw Crumbs do it. We see this one right here where he's magic resist oriented, even though there's multiple threats from all resistance types.
That's the real risk, is you've got a very well-crafted team composition from NIP. The Rengar ganks thankfully did work today. We saw our series yesterday, H2K versus SK Prime. It didn't have the Rengar ganks fall through, or actually fall through is a negative thing. They didn't come through for the team. They did fall through. But Ko right now has been very successful, 3-2-6. Highest kill participation on the team, 9 of 11 here for these guys.
Oh, they hid.
Oh, but he's got a lantern, but he gets shockwave back. He's got nowhere to go. Alex Ich, nice claim on that kill. Ko already across the wall for Rydell. It's going to be a tidal wave, and he just looks over to the red buff. Nice.
Started up for Yuki, being a teammate.
Oh,
Here
man.
comes the duel. Cabochard.
JWoww, can you beat up Cabochard? Drinks from the cask again. He's actually missed a lot of
Flash.
javelins there. Body slam flash on the auto attack. Easy claim right there. JWoww cannot miss those skill shots.
We see that duel constantly, but look at this. The Baron does go over to NIP, and they're going to go after Rydell.
Freeze going in. Red buff is there. One more attack. Claims the kill. Freeze takes him out. Killing spree now on Tristana. 4-1-4. Beautiful stuff NIP. Plays all across the map.
Well, the fact that they had JWoww split pushing, doesn't use his flash, doesn't use his TP, doesn't join the fight, and he doesn't even beat the Gragas that he's been trying to just orient his build around. We see the Hex Drinker now coming out for him. I still don't think he's able to beat this Gragas head on. It's going to just stunt that win condition for them. They're going to have to find a different strategy.
And this is not going to work here in this game, I don't think. Cabochard shows himself up on this one, and this turret going to take a little bit of damage. G2 do stop that though. TP maybe not required just yet. Could have pushed actually bot tier 2 in that case. But Ko is split pushing. This is one of the things about a well-fed Rengar, is he becomes a split push threat in his own right. He's a good enough duelist that he can show up in a lane by himself, and requires a whole bunch of attention to deal with.
Man, you know who really enjoyed this meta? We'll talk about it in a second, but Ko, he's trying to go in. He's looking for an opening. They threw the ball on him.
G2 are well grouped though.
He's got nothing.
Doesn't land the root either, and no real damage yet on the turret. The wave's still getting pushed in. Freeze though, so long range, can make these plays happen. JWoww on the flank saying, who is the better feline? And right now, Ko's going to need one of those 9 lives because he's about to go down, evaporates in that battle, but Yuki gets caught up by the shockwave regardless. Beautiful play, Alex Ich making that a 1-for-1. The flash is away. Looks like it's going to be JWoww keeping himself alive.
Rydell trying to keep Yuki safe, but just exploded. The shockwaves from Alex Ich all game have been catching people out mid-lantern, mid-flash,
yeah,
decimating people constantly.
Yuki had flash up right there too, which means he could have dodged away from that shockwave. So still, great ults coming out from Alex Ich and everybody else here. NIP playing a very good game, 15-5 in kills. See that fight again.
Oh, goes a little too early because his team wasn't there yet, but the knockup, he's not able to flash after getting hit by the Nami tidal wave. Even the Acathian surprise was a little surprised there.
Yeah.
He's sitting there with a shield on him from the Thresh
Too
land.
stunned to move.
Wow, just knocked up and then sucked in by the Orianna ultimate. Alex has just been doing a really good job with those, but the rest of his team, everybody on NIP, pretty well coordinated this game.
Yeah, they look like a very, very good team. Alex Ich goes back to the mid lane. Cabochard's picked up in the top. And he just sits there and fights JWoww. Like, pretty, you know, par for the course there for a top laner. He's playing fine, winning his matchup. That's the important thing. And the rest of NIP is a group of 4. Just continually make very, very good moves.
Yeah, and I said that they look really coordinated. Ko has been, this little caveat to it, he's been a little aggressive sometimes.
Yeah.
A little early aggressive. Like, he has the right play in mind, but he executes it maybe a second or two early. Tries to force it. But, I mean, they did come out with pretty much an even trade on that.
But turrets are still going down. Ninjas and Pyjamas, with the aggressive play, are still removing structures from the map that Gamers 2 tries to own. Now bot tier 2 under fire. Ko again looks for the flank here, really go for it. A little bit of poke back and forth, nothing gained just yet, but this turret starting to get chipped down.
Bloodthirster completed, now some magic resistance. Ko, he's sweeping wards around him. He has his ultimate available. Alex Ich has his ball ready to go.
Got flash too. You just flash the wall, get shockwave on. Oh.
Surprise!
I don't think they can stop him, though. This ward's going to die.
They can't stop him. The hook's down, the cocoon's down. There's nothing they can do about it.
And this turret is taking massive damage
just
right
ultied
now.
too.
There it goes. Ko, can you find the engage?
Nope.
Looks like no, but that's fine. Short cooldown in the first place anyway. Minions go away, but another turret goes to NIP. Of course, they've been holding the Baron buff for a while. And they're making very good plays with it. They're up 13,000 gold now, and I have not seen any signs of G2 finding their way back into this game. Hook, it's onto Alex Itch. Will they chase one down? Big burst comes across. Ulti not going to be enough for Ocelote, though.
Yeah, they burned DFG on him as well.
Wow.
There was a DFG ulti from Ocelote, and it still didn't destroy Alex. He's actually got
a lot of AP.
Yeah, he's got a lot of AP. He's able to shield himself for a good amount. You can see right there. Through the DFG, that's really surprising. It was really good. They're in really good spots here for NIP to just close this game out.
Well, no death cap for Ocelote means his AP is actually only in the maybe the 400-ish range, whereas you got 600 something for Alex, which is actually pretty massive.
That's true. That's kind of the big difference there between the two. Yeah, the lack of the death cap. That'll be a good spike for him. But I don't know if it's really going to just close it out. And the fact that Freeze has the Bloodthirster who'll have the shield up, and then he'll have the shield from Alex if it's used on him as well. So they have a lot of options here. Exactly.
Yeah, Freeze will be very hard to kill. Alex Itch has proven that he is hard to kill, and Ko is building pretty much tank there.
It's the 425 AP for Ocelote currently.
Yep. But that'll go into the almost 600 range when he completes death cap, though. So that'll be pretty important for the man if he can get another 1,000-ish gold under his belt. He'll be much more threatening. Is level 16. Ulti is back up. Ninjas Pyjamas right now just sort of clearing the map. Gaining gold, making sure minion waves are all pushed in. They have Tristana, which is a great sieger, and Orianna can protect her while she attacks turrets. So NIP have all the elements of just grouping up and pushing down turrets. Just very slow and steady, they would win this race.
Alex looks back in his groove from the top lane, now in the mid, 307 Orianna. He doesn't have to deal with the wave clear champions, even though he's playing one. He's more of a team fight champion right now.
But he's been able to make those aggressive plays.
Oh, yeah.
Look for the gank synergies.
He's playing his style. He's not falling into the hands of gamers too, which just seem like they want to pick you off and then fight you a little bit while split pushing. But they can't do it.
I think it's really cool, actually, that Alex has managed to, like, play with sort of, like, the season's up-and-coming players, right? Like, when Moscow 5 came big in Season 2, it was like Diamond out of nowhere is revolutionary jungler. He's like, here's this new style of being really aggressive, and the whole Moscow 5 crew was like this new sort of team that played really differently. And now he's like, all right, well, I got Ko, who you've seen him around for a while. He's not as new, but, like, he's arguably the best jungler and challenger we talked about before, right? He's one of the, I would say, still few Rengar players. Like, it's not uncommon, but not everyone plays the champ. And it's like, he's part of that sort of new wave of junglers. So guys, there's more to this. There's all these new champs you guys can play. Try these new things out. Very aggressive player. And
plays it well, and there we go.
Finding with them. Engage comes in onto Morden, has to repel up into the air. A little bit of damage comes towards Alex. Root's not quite going to land from Ko, but here comes Rydal, flashes in. Vox comes down. One of them flashes the shotgun, but Rydal still stays alive. Finally goes down to freeze. Health bar is going down for NIP, but they have still pushed back G2. Morden very, very low. Ninjas Pyjamas going to try to move in now, go for Baron Nashor.
Can they stop this Baron? Morden off on the wings. Can he get over the wall? He sweeps, makes sure there's nobody around. He's very low. He'd have to sacrifice himself for this. Even if they get it, not entirely sure it'll work out. Ko.
Big damage to Alex, though. He is overextended. JWoww claims the kill, and he backs right on out. Does get picked up by Cabochard, though. Ulti onto Ocelote. He gets to flash away, but Freeze grabs another kill, and they keep chasing. Morden's got nowhere to go. Flash in from Freeze.
Got another jump.
Just wants Yuki. Who's going to get the damage output? That's going to be Freeze right there. And in fact, the support picked up the kill onto Morden, so everyone now dead from G2, and NIP can go back for this.
That's an ace, and they pick it up for themselves. And they're going to get this Baron off the back, but NIP in a great spot right now. Almost 20,000 gold up, but it's at that 16K.
Yeah, these guys right now looking great for NIP. Scumbag Freeze didn't help his team pick up Baron. Instead, he pushed the mid lane. 30 seconds till respawns. They can get him.
NIP have just been looking in control of this game since around that second dragon. And now Ko, cooldown reduction build. wants to make plays. He
jumps on the inhibitor.
Got it. Surprised it. Didn't see that one coming.
Nope. Inhibs do not get exclamation points. They're going to keep pushing this one down, though. 10 seconds till the respawns. The 4 men are still there to knock this structure down. Turret number 1 goes. Turret number 2 going to fall as well. And now they commit in for the base. Tidal Wave going to stop some of the reinforcements. And in 39 minutes, Ninjas in Pyjamas with a very clean win and a very convincing game take out the first game in the best of 3.
That was really well played there by them. They end the game with 20K gold up. NIP take game 1 over Gamers 2, but we've seen this story before. Gamers 2 came back in game 2 last time we saw them, but are NIP just at a higher level now that they put Alex back in the mid?
They definitely appear to be. So we do see teams turn it around in the second game. New composition, they fix that 1 or 2 minor mistakes, and they go okay. It does look like G2 play poorly from behind with this type of comp. I think if you can't reliably get yourself in an actual gold lead, right, you don't limp into the bad dragon fights, I think they can't run this comp again because it's too big of a risk where you've got to pull these games out and get that first round bye in the postseason playoffs. So G2, I think, need to find a new look for themselves. An actual poke comp for 1 might work out. Banning the Rengar might work for 1, but I think they need to find something new to do here. But of course, yes, NIP look absolutely great. They got picked off early on. They lost the dragon early on, and they still managed to play around that, find the fights. Ko and Alex worked great as a pair, and that's a really good thing for NIP.
Yeah, NIP just coming out of the gates blazing there. No mercy.
Yeah.
Completely wreck pretty much every lane. Ko sacrificed himself a couple times, but most deaths on a team, but it's only 3, and everybody else had 1. Gamers 2 ended up getting just 6 kills that game. One of those deaths from Ko was actually a suicide.
That's true.
So he died pretty much just 2 times that gave gold over to people. So the fact that it's 20-6 in kills is very disheartening for Gamers 2. Yeah. The fact that they also had a pick comp too. They had Elise, they had Syndra, and I don't think we ever saw Ocelote just blow somebody up. We saw him use his DFG ultimate on Freeze in that last fight. Got him pretty low, but then Freeze just lifestealed back up.
Yeah. And that's been a big difficulty for these guys, is the pick comp does not seem to be working. NIP seem to play a very slow and controlled style, at least against a pick team like this. But you saw they got control. Wards stayed up. They kept all the lanes pushing. They kept Dragon timers. They kept Baron timers. They started taking away the enemy jungle. And when a team plays very much by the book and very methodical, you don't have those chance openings. Without some kind of stealth champ, without an Evelynn for a random flank where you dodge a pink ward, without a Rengar, G2 can't play this type of comp again. But they can't harness the fact that NIP are playing methodical, right? They had Yuki continue to farm, continue to do well as a champion. His build wasn't good. Last Whisper is dumb 3rd on Kog'Maw, but he can play another late game carry. Wasn't punished in the lane for that one, right? Can be a late game force. Ocelote knew he did well in his lane one-on-one, right? Knew he was holding up well against Alex H. You find a comp that harnesses these facets that NIP will play slow and these guys will perform, you can find a new strat in game 2 and game 3.
Yeah, and just looking at what happened, Ocelote left the laning phase, 10 minutes, huge CS lead over Alex at the start, and then he just kept getting ganked by Ko.
Yeah.
Since the fact that they're going to swap from red to blue means that they'll ban Kassadin most likely. They won't have to ban Kassadin most likely, and they can sub that in for a Rengar ban and not have that same pressure on Ocelote that he was experiencing in the mid game, because they kept going after him. It's like flashes down, get Ocelote with a combo over and over again. They got him about 2-3 times with that.
Absolutely, and maybe even you consider stealing the champ away as well. Now, you think back to Game 1's champ select, and the 2nd and 3rd picks for NIP were Rengar, Orianna, meaning that G2 would have had to, in their first round, take one of those champions, but maybe you say, okay, on blue side, maybe we should do this. Maybe we should take away part of this combo, whether it's bans or just contested picks, because I know Ocelote can play Orianna. He's been playing it for like 4 years now. Yeah. The champion wasn't even 4 years old, but he still played it for that long. So I think there's definitely adaptations available for G2. If they correct it, they're going to look good. Now, guys, going to take a quick break, but when we come back, Gamers 2 and Ninjas in Pyjamas will swap sides and do it all over again. You don't want to miss it.